so there were a lot of battles here out on track, and we saw that Andy was trying to defend from another guys, especially from, I think, from Keeney, yeah, and Keeney's nightmare when he put wet tires on his car.
Yeah.
So
well, Javier is now coming into the final corner. His championship rival just behind him, but Javier is going to exit the final corner here at Mount Panorama to take the championship. Congratulations to him. Awesome stuff from Javier, GT4 Motive Racing champion. Dan VW, a brilliant drive from him. Awesome stuff to come home in second place. Brilliant drive from him. My driver of the day. Super stuff from him. And Mark Rave is going to come home in the top 3 on the podium to take the second place in the championship, I believe. Brilliant stuff from him. A little bit off at the end of the season, but Mark Rave come home in 3rd place, taking 2nd place in the championship, I believe. Lightblade in 4th, all on his nose himself, will do a great job there in 4th place. Will Friedman in 5th place as well, so awesome stuff.
Standard Control's already pulled out a 2-second gap to Cheese Monkey since making that move and getting ahead into 2nd place, but Cheese Monkey still on track for the title, still looking good to take Motive Racing's GT4 Championship in its 2nd season. Cam Diz though coming on the run from Old Hall up to Cascades has got the lead of the race, and it looks like it's going to be the victory for him. He's got about half a lap to go now, and he will be the race winner for the final round 8 of the season here at Alton Park. Van der Vander's still on the back of Credero right now, 2/10 of a second separating. In fact, no, he's had a moment there. He's made a mistake by the looks of it through the middle sector, and you can see now there's visibly more than 2/10 of a second. 1.7 now separating those two. But here is your champion to be, Cheese Monkey, sat in 3rd place, qualified in P3 tonight. Managed to get ahead of Standard Control in the early stages. Wasn't able to go with Cam Diz, who drove off into the distance, but it's been a very well managed race from Cheese Monkey. Didn't get flustered, didn't get concerned about the fact that he wasn't on the pace of the leader Cam Diz. He's just driven his own race, has ultimately been the 2nd or 3rd fastest driver out on track at all times tonight. And Standard Control eventually has got past him and has pulled out a bit of a gap here, but Cheese Monkey, a really worthy champion of this GT4 division, has been so consistent throughout the course of this season. Took wins in round 2 at Silverstone and round 7 at Bathurst, and he's got half a lap to go, just coming into Britain's for the final time. As we'll go with the leader Cam Diz, who's coming in towards Lodge Corner for the final time. It's going to be the win here for Cam, racing in the reserve. Hopefully he'll be racing in this GT4 Championship next season. He'll be a contender for the title, that is for sure. Dominant win tonight here at Alton Park. He takes the checker. Cam Diz with a superb performance tonight. Has not put a foot wrong over the course of this evening. Really well done. Congratulations to Cam Diz. Standard Control's got a few corners to go, and he's going to be a valiant 2nd here in this championship. Gave it everything he had. Took both of the wins that he had in Tier 2. Unfortunately, only half of his points from Tier 2 were valid for Tier 1, as you would expect. As makes perfect sense when you think about it. But Standard Control jumped into Tier 1 mid-season and really did an absolutely superb job since he jumped up. Unfortunately for him, he's going to come up 2nd best in their title, but Standard Control crosses the line to take 2nd place here in this race. But Cheese Monkey is the GT4 champion for Season 2 here on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Motive Racing. Congratulations, Cheese Monkey. You are one of Motive Racing's champions, following in the footsteps of Javier Ranz, took the GT4. Cheese Monkey though is on his final lap of the race, the GT4 champion from last season. Joined us in Season 1 for the GT4s, was a regular mid-pack runner, sometimes up near the front, usually quite prominent but never really challenging for wins or podiums. I think he might have got a podium or 2 in the first season, but it wasn't consistently on the podium. And then 2nd season really came of age, took the fight to Standard Control in the battle for the championship. Standard Control had to I think miss a round or something. Oh no, he missed the first part of the season, that's what it was. Missed the first couple of rounds, and even though Standard Control was extremely strong contender, Cheese Monkey was so consistent and then Cheese Monkey managed to finish ahead of him in the last 2 races. Took a win at Bathurst in the penultimate round of last season, followed that with a P2 at Alton Park to take his first GT4 crown. This season he stepped it up another gear. He took the first 2 rounds of the season, followed up with a second at Suzuka, then took another win at Catalunya, had a bit of a barren run in the mid part of the season, took a win at Zolder, and then also at Brands Hatch as well. He's coming up towards the line. Cheese Monkey is going to become a double champion of the GT4. He lags all over the place and crosses the line. Cheese Monkey is a 2-time champion of the GT4s here on ACC at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Does it twice in the Ginetta. What a job, what a season, what a driver this kid is. Cheese Monkey once again delivers the goods. Marty Road Racing in second place, but a dominant display from the 2-time champion of the GT4s. Absolutely wiped the floor with him tonight and showed why he's the man to beat in this series. Marty Road Racing crosses the line to take second for Team Run DJC. Not a bad night for Marty. It will be said. Freeman coming out of the last corner. It's going to be a flash of the lights. Freeman shows the respect to Xanafan. Those two had a great battle towards the end there. The runner-up in the season 3 of the GT4s here at Motive, Freeman, one of our coordinators and admins as well.
I think it was a great season here and a good race tonight. So there were a lot of battles here out on track, and we saw that Andy was trying to defend from another guys, especially from, I think, from Keeney, yeah, and Keeney's nightmare when he put wet tires on his car.
Yeah. So, well, Javier is now coming into the final corner. His championship rival just behind him, but Javier is going to exit the final corner here at Mount Panorama to take the championship. Congratulations to him. Awesome stuff from Javier, GT4 Motive Racing champion. Dan VW, a brilliant drive from him. Awesome stuff to come home in second place. Brilliant drive from him. My driver of the day. Super stuff from him. And Mark Rave is going to come home in the top 3 on the podium to take the second place in the championship, I believe. Brilliant stuff from him. A little bit off at the end of the season, but Mark Rave come home in 3rd place, taking second place in the championship, I believe. Lightblade in 4th. All on his nose himself will do a great job there in 4th place. Will Friedman in 5th place as well. So awesome stuff.
Standard Control's already pulled out a 2-second gap to Cheese Monkey since making that move and getting ahead into second place, but Cheese Monkey still on track for the title, still looking good to take Motive Racing's GT4 Championship in its 2nd season. Candice though coming on the run from Old Hall up to Cascades has got the lead of the race, and it looks like it's going to be the victory for him. He's got about half a lap to go now, and he will be the race winner for the final round 8 of the season here at Alton Park. Van is still on the back of Quideo right now, 0.2 of a second separating. In fact, no, he's had a moment there. He's made a mistake by the looks of it through the middle sector, and you can see now there's visibly more than 0.2 of a second. 1.7 now separating those two. But here is your champion to be, Cheese Monkey, sat in 3rd place. Qualified in P3 tonight, managed to get ahead of Standard Control in the early stages. Wasn't able to go with Cam Diz, who drove off into the distance, but it's been a very well managed race from Cheese Monkey. Didn't get flustered, didn't get concerned about the fact that he wasn't on the pace of the leader Cam Diz. He's just driven his own race, has ultimately been the 2nd or 3rd fastest driver out on track at all times tonight. And Standard Control eventually has got past him and has pulled out a bit of a gap here, but Cheese Monkey, a really worthy champion of this GT4 division, has been so consistent throughout the course of this season. Took wins in round 2 at Silverstone and round 7 at Bathurst, and he's got half a lap to go, just coming into Britain's for the final time. As we will go with the leader Cam Diz, who's coming in towards Lodge Corner for the final time. It's going to be the win here for Cam, racing with the reserve. Hopefully he'll be racing in this GT4 Championship next season. He'll be a contender for the title, that is for sure. Dominant win tonight here at Alton Park. He takes the checker. Cam Diz with a superb performance tonight. Has not put a foot wrong over the course of this evening. really well done. Congratulations to Cam Diz. Standard Control's got a few corners to go, and he's going to be a valiant second here in this championship. Gave it everything he had, took both of the wins that he had in Tier 2. Unfortunately, only half of his points from Tier 2 were valid for Tier 1, as you would expect, as makes perfect sense when you think about it. But Standard Control jumped into Tier 1 mid-season and really did an absolutely superb job since he jumped up. Unfortunately for him, he's going to come up second best in the title, but Standard Control crossed the line to take second place here in this race. But Cheese Monkey is the GT4 champion for Season 2 here on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Motive Racing. Congratulations, Cheese Monkey. You are one of Motive Racing's champions, following in the footsteps of Javier Ranz, took the Cheese Monkey, though, is on his final lap of the race, the GT4 champion from last season. Joined us in Season 1 for the GT4s, was a regular mid-pack runner, sometimes up near the front, usually quite prominent but never really challenging for wins or podiums. I think he might have got a podium or two in the first season, but it wasn't consistently on the podium. And then second season really came of age, took the fight to Standard Control in the battle for the championship. Standard Control had to I think miss a round or something. Oh no, he missed the first part of the season, that's what it was. Missed the first couple of rounds, and even though Standard Control was an extremely strong contender, Cheese Monkey was so consistent, and then Cheese Monkey managed to finish ahead of him in the last two races. Took a win at Bathurst in the penultimate round of last season, followed that with a P2 at Alton Park to take his first GT4 crown. This season he stepped it up another gear. He took the first two rounds of the season, followed up with a second at Suzuka, then took another win at Catalunya, had a bit of a barren run in the mid part of the season, took a win at Zolder, and then also at Brands Hatch as well. He's coming up towards the line. Cheese Monkey is going to become a double champion of the GT4s. He lags all over the place and crosses the line. Cheese Monkey is a two-time champion of the GT4s here on ACC at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Does it twice in the Ginetta. What a job, what a season, what a driver this kid is. Cheese Monkey once again delivers the goods. Marty Road Racing in second place, but a dominant display from the two-time champion of the GT4s. Absolutely wiped the floor with him tonight and showed why he's the man to beat in this series. Marty Road Racing crosses the line to take second for Team Run DJC. Not a bad night for Marty. It will be said. Freeman is coming out of the last corner. It's going to be a flash of the lights. Freeman shows the respect to Xanafan. Those two had a great battle towards the end there. The runner-up in the Season 3 of the GT4s here at Motive, Freeman, one of our coordinators and admins as well.
But I think it was a great season here and a good race tonight. So there were a lot of battles here out on track, and we saw that Andy was trying to defend from another guys, especially from, I think, from Keeney, yeah, and Keeney's nightmare when he put wet tires on his car.
Yeah. So, well, Javier is now coming into the final corner. His championship rival just behind him, but Javier is going to exit the final corner here at Mount Panorama to take the championship. Congratulations to him. Awesome stuff from Javier, GT4 Motive Racing champion. Dan VW, a brilliant drive from him. Awesome stuff to come home in second place. Brilliant drive from him. My driver of the day. Super stuff from him. And Mark Rave is going to come home in the top three on the podium to take the second place in the championship, I believe. Brilliant stuff from him. A little bit off at the end of the season, but Mark Rave come home in third place, taking second place in the championship, I believe. Lightblade in fourth, all on his nose himself, will do a great job there in fourth place. Will Friedman in fifth place as well, so awesome stuff.
Standard Control's already pulled out a 2-second gap to Cheese Monkey since making that move and getting ahead into second place, but Cheese Monkey still on track for the title, still looking good to take Motive Racing's GT4 championship in its second season. Cam Diz, though, coming on the run from Old Hall up to Cascades, has got the lead of the race, and it looks like it's going to be the victory for him. He's got about half a lap to go now, and he will be the race winner for the final round 8 of the season here at Alton Park. Van der kind of still on the back of Clegg right now, 0.2 of a second separating. In fact, no, he's had a moment there. He's made a mistake by the looks of it through the middle sector. And you can see now there's visibly more than 0.2 of a second, 1.7 now separating those two. Now here is your champion to be, Cheese Monkey, sat in 3rd place. Qualified in P3 tonight, managed to get ahead of standard control in the early stages. Wasn't able to go with Cam Diz, who drove off into the distance, but it's been a very well managed race from Cheese Monkey. Didn't get flustered, didn't get concerned about the fact that he wasn't on the pace of the leader Cam Diz. He's just driven his own race, has ultimately been the 2nd or 3rd fastest driver out on track at all times tonight. And standard control eventually has got past him and has pulled out a bit of a gap here, but Cheese Monkey, a really worthy champion of this GT4 division, has been so consistent throughout the course of this season. Took wins in round 2 at Silverstone and round 7 at Bathurst, and he's got half of that to go, just coming into Britain's for the final time. As we will go with the leader Cam Diz, who's coming in towards Lodge Corner for the final time. It's going to be the win here for Cam, racing with the reserve. Hopefully he'll be racing in this GT4 championship next season. He'll be a contender for the title, that is for sure. Dominant win tonight here at Alton Park. He takes the check of Cam Diz with a superb performance tonight. Has not put a foot wrong over the course of this evening. Really well done. Congratulations to Cam Diz. Standard control's got a few corners to go, and he's going to be a valiant second here in this championship. Gave it everything he had. Took both of the wins that he had in Tier 2. Unfortunately, only half of his points from Tier 2 were valid for Tier 1, as you would expect. As makes perfect sense when you think about it. But standard control jumped into Tier 1 mid-season and really did an absolutely superb job since he jumped up. Unfortunately for him, he's going to come up 2nd best in the title, but standard control crosses the line to take 2nd place here in this race. But Cheese Monkey is the GT4 champion for Season 2 here on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Motive Racing. Congratulations, Cheese Monkey. You are one of Motive Racing's champions, following in the footsteps of Javier Ranz, took the GT4. Cheese Monkey, though, is on his final lap of the race, the GT4 champion from last season. Joined us in Season 1 for the GT4s, was a regular mid-pack runner, sometimes up near the front, usually quite prominent, but never really challenging for wins or podiums. I think he might have got a podium or 2 in the first season, but it wasn't consistently on the podium. And then 2nd season really came of age, took the fight to standard control in the battle for the championship. Standard control had to I think miss a round or something. Oh no, he missed the first part of the season, that's what it was. Missed the first couple of rounds, and even though standard control was an extremely strong contender, Cheese Monkey was so consistent. And then Cheese Monkey managed to finish ahead of him in the last 2 races. Took a win at Bathurst in the penultimate round of the last season, followed that with a P2 at Alton Park to take his first GT4 crown. This season, he stepped it up another gear. He took the first 2 rounds of the season, followed up with a 2nd at Suzuka, then took another win at Catalunya, had a bit of a barren run in the mid part of the season, took a win at Zolder, and then also at Brands Hatch as well. He's coming up towards the line. Cheese Monkey is going to become a double champion of the GT4. He lags all over the place and crosses the line. Cheese Monkey is a 2-time champion of the GT4s here on ACC at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Does it twice in the Ginetta. What a job, what a season, what a driver this kid is. Cheese Monkey once again delivers the goods. Marty Road Racing in 2nd place, but a dominant display from the 2-time champion of the GT4s. Absolutely wiped the floor with him tonight and showed why he's the man to beat in this series. Marty Road Racing crosses the line to take 2nd for Team Run DJC. Not a bad night for Marty. It will being said. Freeman coming out of the last corner. It's going to be a flash of the lights. Freeman shows the respect to Zanafano. Those two had a great battle towards the end there. The runner-up in the Season 3 of the GT4s here at Motive, Freeman, one of our coordinators and admins as well.
I think it was a great season here and a good race tonight. So there were a lot of battles here out on track, and we saw that Andy was trying to defend from another guys, especially from, I think, from Keeney, yeah, and Keeney's nightmare when he put wet tires on his car. Yeah. So,
well, Javier is now coming into the final corner. His championship rival just behind him, but Javier is going to exit the final corner here at Mount Panorama to take the championship. Congratulations to him. Awesome stuff from Javier. GT4 Motive Racing Champion. Dan VW, a brilliant drive from him. Awesome stuff to come home in second place. Brilliant drive from him. My driver of the day. Super stuff from him. And Mark Rave is going to come home in the top 3 on the podium to take the second place in the championship, I believe. Brilliant stuff from him. A little bit off at the end of the season, but Mark Rave come home in 3rd place, taking 2nd place in the championship, I believe. Lightblade in 4th, all on his nose himself, will do a great job there in 4th place. Will Friedman in 5th place as well, so awesome stuff.
Standard Control's already pulled out a 2-second gap to Cheese Monkey since making that move and getting ahead into 2nd place, but Cheese Monkey still on track for the title, still looking good to take Motive Racing's GT4 Championship in its 2nd season. Candice though coming on the run from Old Hall up to Cascades, has got the lead of the race, and it looks like it's going to be the victory for him. He's got about half a lap to go now, and he will be the race winner for the final round 8 of the season here at Alton Park. Van is still on the back of Credeo right now, 0.2 of a second separating. In fact, no, he's had a moment there. He's made a mistake by the looks of it through the middle sector, and you can see now there's visibly more than 0.2 of a second. 1.7 now separating those two. Now here is your champion to be, Cheese Monkey, sat in 3rd place. Qualified in P3 tonight, managed to get ahead of Standard Control in the early stages. Wasn't able to go with Cam Diz, who drove off into the distance, but it's been a very well managed race from Cheese Monkey. Didn't get flustered, didn't get concerned about the fact that he wasn't on the pace of the leader Cam Diz. He's just driven his own race, has ultimately been the 2nd or 3rd fastest driver out on track at all times tonight, and Standard Control eventually has got past him and has pulled out a bit of a gap here, but Cheese Monkey, a really worthy champion of this GT4 division, has been so consistent throughout the course of this season. Took wins in round 2 at Silverstone and round 7 at Bathurst, and he's got half a lap to go, just coming into Britain's for the final time, as we will go with the leader Cam Diz, who's coming in towards Lodge Corner for the final time. It's going to be the win here for Cam, racing in the reserve. Hopefully he'll be racing in this GT4 championship next season. He'll be a contender for the title, that is for sure. Dominant win tonight here at Alton Park. He takes the checker. Cam Diz with a superb performance tonight. Has not put a foot wrong over the course of this evening. Really well done. Congratulations to Cam Diz. Standard Control's got a few corners to go, and he's going to be a valiant 2nd here in this championship. Gave it everything he had. Took both of the wins that he had in Tier 2. Unfortunately, only half of his points from Tier 2 were valid for Tier 1, as you would expect. As makes perfect sense when you think about it. But Standard Control jumped into Tier 1 mid-season and really did an absolutely superb job since he jumped up. Unfortunately for him, he's going to come up 2nd best in the title, but Standard Control crosses the line to take 2nd place here in this race. But Cheese Monkey is the GT4 champion for Season 2 here on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Motive Racing. Congratulations, Cheese Monkey. You are one of Motive Racing's champions, following in the footsteps of Javier Ranz, took the Cheese Monkey though is on his final lap of the race, the GT4 champion from last season. Joined us in Season 1 for the GT4s, was a regular mid-pack runner, sometimes up near the front, usually quite prominent but never really challenging for wins or podiums. I think he might have got a podium or 2 in the first season, but it wasn't consistently on the podium. And then 2nd season really came of age, took the fight to Standard Control in the battle for the championship. Standard Control had to I think miss a round or something. Oh no, he missed the first part of the season, that's what it was. Missed the first couple of rounds, and even though Standard Control was extremely strong contender, Cheese Monkey was so consistent, and then Cheese Monkey managed to finish ahead of him in the last 2 races. Took a win at Bathurst in the penultimate round of the last season, followed that with a P2 at Alton Park to take his first GT4 crown. This season he stepped it up another gear. He took the first 2 rounds of the season, followed up with a 2nd at Suzuka, then took another win at Catalunya, had a bit of a barren run in the mid part of the season, took a win at Zolder, and then also at Brands Hatch as well. He's coming up towards the line. Cheese Monkey is going to become a double champion of the GT4s. He lags all over the place and crosses the line. Cheese Monkey is a 2-time champion of the Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here at Monza for the opening round of the GT4s here for Season 4 on Assetto Corsa Competizione here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platform. My name's Andy and I'm running solo in the commentary box as usual here on a Wednesday night, but I'm delighted to say that we're joined by 20 drivers out on the track, 20 full-time drivers I believe out there at the moment, which is great to see. There's been lots of anticipation, lots of excitement, lots of build-up to this GT4 season, and we have finally now got what we've asked for. And with just 4 minutes left in this qualifying session, we're going to quickly try and run through every driver that we can. But we currently got Cheese Monkey sat on provisional pole position in the Ginetta here at Monza. Incredible pace from Cheese Monkey and Xander Flander as well. Look at these two go. Currently showing everybody how it's done at the moment. I've heard Cheese Monkey saying in the Discord server that he doesn't expect to, he says if the miracle does happen in the EDX pole, which is looking likely at the moment, he does not expect to be leading by the time we get to turn 1. You're going to have a pack of BMWs behind him, obviously Freeman, Salty Joe, Crew Kip and Coddlinga all sporting the BMWs, so they are going to be flying off the line. I can't imagine that Cheese Monkey and Xander Flander are going to be 1 and 2 by the time we get to the first corner, but they're going to be in with a good shout here in this race. And obviously that Ginetta's got so much speed through these parts of the track, corners like Ascari, the Lesmos, as well as the chicanes as well. The Ginetta's going to be flying through there, but down the straights it's going to be a sitting duck. But Cheese Monkey and Xander Flander currently setting a very strong pace here at the top of this leaderboard, and fair play to these two boys. They are really getting the best out of it at the moment, as we see Xander Flander coming out on the last corner, the Parabolica. Onto the power he comes and up towards the start finish line. What is Xander Flander going to be able to do here? Can he push Cheese Monkey off at the top spot here as he comes over the line now? And he does. Look at that. Xander Flander goes pole by just under 0.3 of a second there. So Cheese Monkey now pushed down to P2. He's sat in the pit, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve and get himself back up onto P1 before the end of this session. So Xander Flander now the man to beat in this qualifying session here for the opening round of the GT4s here at Motive. Let's just double check that our audio is working. Yes, it is. That is always a good start. Freeman currently sat in 3rd place, the runner-up in the championship last season, representative of Team Run DJC, also an admin coordinator for this GT4 series here at Motive. Does a great job behind the scenes at Motive, does all sorts for us here, and he's currently coming out of Ascari at the moment. He's just under half a second off of the fastest time being set by Xander Flander at the moment, as he's now heading down towards the Parabolica. He's got his Team Run DJC Coddlinga pretty close to him in the standings, for the qualifying standings at the moment. Only half a second, just over half a second adrift of the top time being set by Xander Flander. But here is Freeman coming through the Parabolica. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead of him. Does he get a bit of, maybe a bit of slipstream here? There will definitely be a benefit for him. He doesn't pick up any tow off of that car in front of him. Up towards the line comes Freeman. What can he do here? What can he put on the board? He comes over and he does go on pole there. Freeman pushes Xander Flander off the top spot now by 0.3 of a second, and all of a sudden in the latter stage of this qualifying session, as the track gets more rubbered in, Cheese Monkey is getting pushed down the order. Coddlinga next to come here. He's just coming through Lesmo 1 at the moment, or coming out of Lesmo 2 should I say. Salty Joe doing a great job here tonight in the number 90 BMW, currently sat in 5th place, only just under a second off for the fastest time being set by Freeman. Excellent to see Salty Joe doing a good job here on his league debut here tonight at Motive, and made his full debut last week in that pre-season event at Zolder, but this is obviously his first league debut here, and he's absolutely killing it out there tonight. Crew Kip sat in P6, did a good job last week at Zolder as well. John Jig, regular season veteran here at Motive in these GT4s in P7. We've got Marty Road Racing in 8th, driving in the number 226 USA Police Car Livery Porsche. We got Grulo in the pits at the moment. Emo Guy currently coming up towards the line. He's sat in P10 provisionally in this qualifying session. He moves up into P7 there, so Emo Guy does a good lap just as he came over there. Salty Joe stays in P6, but Coddlinga's moved himself up into P5 at the moment. Crew Kip up into 4th, so pushing Coddlinga and Salty Joe down positions there, as we see Marty coming through Lesmo 1 at the moment. You got Grudo in the pits, Ryan Ruby's just coming out of Lesmo 2. SMT Zaloba coming in towards the second chicane, the Della Roja chicane. He's got a bit more time in this session to get another lap on the board. We've got Pete Bibb in P13. He's sat in the pits at the moment. He's certainly not going to improve while sat in there. We've got Duke Martin sat here also in the pits. Quideo and Windsor out on the track. Quideo just coming through the second chicane. Windsor's just coming through the first chicane. King Quinn sat in the pits. He's certainly not going to make any inroads on his performance whilst sat in there, as we've got Snooky there out on the track just coming up towards Lesmo 1. And Nilsson and Lazy Camel look to have ruined their potential in this qualifying session, but Freeman coming over the line to, looks like it's going to be pole position unless Kodalungu can find about 8/10 of a second on this final run. Salty Joe also out there, Emo Guy and John Jig have both pitted, so the top 4 all in the pits. Kodalungu and Salty Joe still out there. What about Marty? Let's see what Marty Road Racing can do as he comes up towards the line. What does he do? What does he put on the board? He doesn't improve on that particular lap, stays in P9 for the time being. SMT's over up towards the Parabolica. Quadeo Windsor also out there on lap times at this particular point in the session. Snooky just coming out of Ascari, but SMT Zaloba gets onto the power out of Parabolica. Let's see if he can get himself into the top 10. He'll have to find 4/10 of a second if he is to do so. Up towards the line comes SMT Zaloba. He doesn't improve, he stays in P12 for now. Guadeo next up, coming out of Parabolica here, driving in the number 66 Porsche. Bit of a surprise to see Guadeo as far down the order as he is. Obviously changed to the Porsche for this season, used to racing the BMW. Over the line, gets himself in P10 right at the end of the session there. So decent job from Guadeo right at the 11th hour. We see Snooky move up into P14 there with that lap. Nice time from Snooky. What about Kodalungu? Kodalungu pits, he's not going to improve. So it's all on Salty Joe now. Salty Joe will be the last driver to complete the qualifying session here as he's onto the power out of the last corner. What can Salty Joe do? Can he get himself into the top 5 maybe? Got to find 2/10 to get himself out of Kodalungu. Up towards the line comes the number 90 BMW and he doesn't improve, stays in P6. So that is going to be that then for the qualifying session here for the first round of the GT4's Season 4 here on Assetto Corsa Competizione here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms at Motive. We got currently JR in the comments says, let's go Team Run DJC. Auto Butcher says, JR, we meet again. Auto Butcher obviously the father of the 2-time champion Cheese Monkey. JR, the CEO of Team Run DJC, so a bit of conflict and interest between those two, but hopefully a healthy rivalry in the comments section once again this season. We got Raki in the comments saying, evening all, have fun back on track. How's you, JR Sim Racing? Auto Butcher says, looking forward to good season. Anybody know how many on the grid? We've got 20 out on the grid tonight. I think we've got a full driver lineup, so we have got a few reserves in waiting, but thus far we have not needed to call on any of them, so a bit of a shame for the reserves who are used to jumping in, but unfortunately, well, for them, we have got currently a really oversubscribed list for these GT4s, which is great for us, but obviously a little bit unfortunate for those waiting to get in, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You got Raki there, says, cool, full grid, shout out to Emo Guy. Emo Guy absolutely currently sat in P7, driving in the BMW for this season. Interesting to see. Team Run DJC do like the BMWs. He's driving in the treble 6, as you always see Emo Guy. He's have absolutely no idea why that is, but yeah, he just seems to like the number by the looks of it. But yeah, we got currently Standard Control says in the comments, oh, big gap between first and second. A little bit, not massive, but you know, there's definitely a healthy gap there for Freeman, for sure. He'd be happy with that. I'm sure he's not going to be too disappointed. Standard Control also saying, should be a good race between the Ginettas. BMWs will cause trouble at the start given the high acceleration and top speed. They will, and you know what, I think those Ginettas are going to be a right pain at the front. I think that those BMWs are going to come flying through. John Jig will also be pretty close on the Ginettas as well. The Ginettas are going to go backwards off the line, there's no doubt about it. They are going to be falling backwards as soon as the lights go out, and Cheese Monkey is disconnected. Cheese Monkey is disconnected from the session. He's just getting back in now, and you know what, I think he's going to have to start from the back. Now Ginetta, the double champion Cheese Monkey, is going to have to start from the back here because he is just disconnected, and he jumped back in just too late just after the qualifying session had ended. So I think that Cheese Monkey is now doomed to start from the rear of the field, which is obviously a massive pain for him, and well, the 2-time champion already up against it in his quest for a 3rd title here in this GT4 championship. Runner-up last season in his big championship contender Freeman will definitely be looking to try and kick on here. He will see that Cheese Monkey is starting from the back, and will definitely see this as a big opportunity tonight, and I'm sure that he will be raring to go here at this point. Obviously we'll have a formation up before the start, so they'll have to wait a little bit longer to get their teeth into some action out on track. But let's run through the order anyway. We've got Freeman on pole with Dan Fanda lining up alongside alongside him on the front row. Cheese Monkey's teammate in the number 81 Ginetta was outqualified Cheese Monkey in that session just gone by, so we'll see what he can do here as we've got Crew Kip lining up on the second row with Coddlingu alongside him. Great qualifying from Crew Kip once again, showing the form that he showed last time out. Salty Joe making his league debut here tonight at Motive. He's raced us a couple of times on Project Cars 2 as a reserve. He raced in our Clio Cup a couple of times, and I believe maybe the touring cars, can't quite remember, but might be wrong on that one to be fair. But seen him in a few races. He's racing on ACC with us this season. Emo Guy P6 pushed up a position down to Cheese Monkey's demotion there for disconnecting, but Emo Guy in his customary treble 6 BMW, this time in a BMW. He raced in a BMW in a GT3 league on Project Cars 2 a couple of seasons ago. I was racing in it as well, and I've got to say the BMW, a great car. I absolutely love the BMW in the GT3 cars. I'm a big fan of the Beamers myself. I love the always a big supporter of the Beamers. As we see, Emo Guy has failed to ready up. What has happened here? Emo Guy has not readied up at the start of this race, so he is going to have to start from the back of the grid. So that is obviously massively unfortunate for him. But yeah, he's got work to do here. Oh dear. But anywho, we got Freeman leading us away here for this formation lap. Xander Flander in P2, and yeah, let's get back to the order anyway. So John Jiggle lining up in 7th place on the 4th row with Marty Road racing alongside him. Quineo in 9th place with Grulo completing the top 10. Ryan Ruby will start this one from P11 in the number 44 BMW. Look at that, that is an absolutely lovely livery there. We got SMT Zaloba in P12, followed by Snooky in 13th place, and we got Beep in 14th, followed by Duke Martin in 15th place, Windsor 16th, King Quinn in 17th, and Nilsson 18th, followed by the Lazy Camel in 19th, and Cheese Monkey will be in 20th place. But we must remember that Emo Guy will be starting from the pit lane, so they will all be pushed up a position by virtue of that. What a shame for Emo Guy, obviously failing to ready up at the start of the race. Me and Emo Guy found a differences over the last week. We were doing an F1 career mode on the F1 game, funny enough, and yeah, we were doing a Mercedes career mode. We were leading the Constructors' Championship, but Emo Guy left for Red Bull mid-season, breaking my heart. But anyway, enough about that. So Freeman out in front at the moment will be taking the start of this race on pole position for this rolling start here for the first round of the GT4s here on ACC at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Auto Butcher saying there in the comments that internet was Cheese Monkey's undoing there. Hopefully that's his internet bad luck done for one night, and it stays firm for the rest of it. Eric the Viking, big shout out to Eric, good to have you back with us this season, mate. He says Snooky fan club in the house, definitely getting behind. Good old David, who's running in P12 at the start of this race in the number 76 AMG. Cheese Monkey says good luck everyone. Obviously that was just before we disconnected, so he obviously didn't get the best of luck just there, but I suppose in a way you could say he got a bit of good luck because it happened before the race rather than during it. Lightblade says evening everyone, good luck DJC crew, keep it clean, standard control. Genettas are definitely going back now. Yeah, for sure, but Xander Flander currently flying the flag for the Genettas, and it'd be interesting to see where he ends up once we get to the first chicane. That's going to be an exciting one to watch. Lightblade says great to see a full grid. 100% agree with you, mate. Always good to see a packed out field here for the GT4s, all the GT3s, all the British GTs as well. By the way, a quick plug, if anybody is interested in racing in the British GT Sprint Cup on Saturday night, it'll be a little bit of a different format, 2 30-minute sprint races. The GT3 class, any GT3 car is allowed, and the primary location for the tracks will be Britain, obviously, being it's the British GT Sprint Cup. There'll be a couple of races in France, and we just had to basically, I tried to make it sort of all Western Europe, but there's a couple in sort of like middle to Eastern Europe, like Monza. I think that's it actually. I think all of the others are in Western Europe, but yeah, that's the British GT Sprint Cup running on Saturday nights at 6:30 PM GMT. If anybody's interested in that, make sure you head over to www.motiveracing.com, change your sign up form if you've already signed up. If you haven't already signed up, then make sure you put your name down for that, guys, as that is going to be absolutely fantastic. Standard Control says can't wait to see Cheese Monkey on his way back through the pack. This should be interesting. It should Standard Control, but Cheese Monkey is going to have a real task on his hand because Monza, a very straight line speed dominated track, and Cheese Monkey driving a car which is just about okay in the qualifying, as he can really wreak the best of it out coming through the chicanes and the Lesmos and the Ascari chicane. But when you've got drivers in front of you, you can't just drive through them, so he's going to have a real hard time picking his way through the pack tonight. Hopefully he's up to the challenge. We are green, we are racing here for the first round of the GT4s. Freeman gets away nicely. Xander Flander already getting absolutely swamped here. It's a question of how many can he limit this to in terms of losing positions coming up towards turn 1, but Freeman already clearing away here coming in towards the first corner. As we see here, we got that's Codalungu down the inside into second place, getting a couple of positions there. We see somebody a little bit wide there in the background. Marty Road Racing climbing over the sleeping policeman, and Credeo doing the same thing. So the police car livery is climbing over the sleeping policeman, as we see there. Oh, somebody spun off in the background there. Somebody is off, as we're not quite used to the liveries just at the moment, so we're not sure who. But Freeman in the lead ahead of Codalungu. Crew Kip there dropping behind Codalungu, but it's currently Freeman from Codalungu from Xander Flander in third place. So Xander Flander limiting the damage pretty well here on this first lap. Zaloba didn't ready up, so he's got to start from the pits, and he still hasn't moved yet, so he's really in trouble here at the start of this race. But Freeman out in front, leads ahead of Codalungu. There's Xander Flander, followed by Crew Kip in fourth place, then Salty Joe Credeo in seventh at the moment. Then you got Marty Road Racing in eighth, or sorry, yeah, seventh. I don't even know. It's coming forward all over the place. Oh, as we see somebody off, somebody's wide there coming through Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2. That's Marty Road Racing getting all over the place there. He's going to drop a few positions. He's dropping back into the clutches of some other drivers here, as we can see King Quinn in the background there. Cheese Monkey is already up into 11th place. What a first lap from Cheese Monkey. That's incredible. He started from P19 on the grid. He's already up into, hold on, is that right? Yeah, it is. He's up into 8s now. So Cheese Monkey's still picking him off. As we see, lots of drivers have just had a bit of an incident here. We've got Snooky has got some damage on the front of that car. Lazy Camel currently running in 12th place on the back of Duke Martin, but Snooky seems to have had a nightmare of an opening lap. Kagrulo there has dropped off at the back of this pack. He's currently 9 seconds behind us. Ryan Ruby's also seems to have been in the wars a little bit. Bit of damage on the front of that car. Ryan up to start from the oh, you didn't have to start from the pit this week. That was last week. John Jig there running in 17th place. There's got a bit of damage on the rear as well. Emo Guy looks like he's trying to get onto the back of these guys if he can. Had to start from the pit lane as he didn't ready up in time. And we've got Nielsen running at the back a long way behind. Looks like he's had a bit of a nightmare of a start to this race, but it's Freeman leading by a second at the moment ahead of Cod. Oh, Cod's gone straight on over the first chicane there, as he, I don't know if he managed to avoid those polystyrene blocks. No, he took one of them out, but he's off and on his way again. He's got Xander Flander pretty close behind him at the moment. Crew Kip there running a couple of seconds behind Xander Flander in fourth place. You've got Salty Joe further second backward. They are there running in sixth place. Pete Bibb there has got Cheese Monkey all over the back of him here. The Ginetta absolutely flying here in the opening couple of laps of this race. I did not expect the Ginetta to be making as quick progress as it has done over the course of this one, because it's not got no straight line speed whatsoever. But he's all over the back of Pete here, as we see him looking down the inside in towards the Della Roger chicane. Thinks better of that one for the time being. Cheese Monkey's not quite close enough coming into that part of the track. You got King Quinn in the background there. Marty running in the final top 10 spot, followed by Duke Martin. Snooky there in 12th. The Lazy Camel running in P13. We see John Jig into the pits here at the end of the first lap, and we've got Ryan Ruby making the move on Grulo. Grulo's lost out to Ryan and Emo Guy, and in fact Grulo's dropping down the field like a stone here. He's lost out to those two, as we see Emo Guy trying to pull up onto the back of Ryan Ruby here, up into P15. Not a bad opening couple of laps for Emo Guy when you consider that he started from the pits. He's made some decent headway since then. He'll be hoping, I'm sure, to get into the top 10 before the end of this race. But Freeman, the last season runner-up in the championship, already exerting his authority over this GT4 field tonight. He's got over a 2-second lead at the moment to Codalungu, as Xander Fander's a further second back in third place. Crew Kip a further second and a half behind Xander Fander in fourth place, followed by Salty Joe, who's just within a second of him at the moment. Grenada there running in sixth place. He's 5 seconds behind the top 5 at this point. He's got Pete Bibb and Cheese Monkey in hot pursuit, as Cheese Monkey's now looking down the inside of Pete Bibb into the Parabolica. Is he going to be able to get this done? He looks like he's managed to make that move on the brakes. His straight line speed will be lacking. It all depends on how much traction he can get out of the Parabolica. If he can get a good run out of this part of the track, he might be able to keep himself in decent stead coming down towards the first chicane. It's all about if he can keep himself there, as he's on the inside of Pete Bibb at the moment. They're going to be side by side down the start finish straight in towards towards turn 1. Pete Bibb will have that straight line speed, but Cheese Monkey will be able to go a little bit later on the brakes. The Ginetta is very, very good on the brakes, as we see them coming in towards the braking zone now. Cheese Monkey late on the brakes. Is he going to be able to complete this move? He needs to get a good run out of the first chicane here, and I think Cheese Monkey has got that done. Yes, he has. He's up into 7th place, and he's pretty safe there from Pete Bibb now. So he's done that, and he's now can focus on what's ahead of him in the shape of Cordero. But at the moment, it's Freeman leading the race by 2.6 seconds over Codalungu. Codalungu's gapped Zanderfander a little bit. Crew kept running about a second behind Zanderfander. Salty Joe clinging to the coattails of the top 4, but it's hard work at the moment for him. Cordero there in the background has got Cheese Monkey hunting him down, and Cheese Monkey is not that far off of the lead. He's only about 10 seconds off from the race leader Freeman, so it's not gone too badly for Cheese Monkey all told at this point. Stop go penalty for number 36. That would be Nilsson there down in P17. Has already picked himself a penalty 6 minutes into this new season. But the gap between Cordero and Cheese Monkey, 0.666 seconds, and at the moment Cheese Monkey just trying his absolute damnedest to bring himself up this order if he can. The Ginetta not famed for his straight line speed, but he's already got a run here on Cordero, and here we go, going to be side by side in towards Ascari. He's going to have a very strong grip around the outside here, but I don't think he's going to be able to get that done. Even the Ginetta doesn't have that sort of cornering grip around the outside of Ascari. The Porsche of Cordero holding on for the time being. As we see, oh no, Cheese Monkey's lost it! Oh no, oh my goodness! He did so well to keep that out of the barriers there, but he absolutely walloped the sleeping policeman coming through the second part of Ascari, and that will have just derailed his charge a little bit here. He's kept it going, he's kept it out of the wall, he's kept the damage off of the car. He's currently got Duke Martin just behind him, so Cheese Monkey dropping down to P10 with that little moment there. Didn't lose too much time in that exchange, but he doesn't want to be doing that again. He'll probably the consequences might be more severe the next time he does that one, that's for sure. But Freeman out front, got a 2-second lead still here in this race. Cheese Monkey down to P10 in between Marty and Duke Martin for the time being. But Zanderfander's currently closing the gap a little bit to Codalungu, who's a little bit quicker on that previous lap. Crew Kip there running in 4th place, dropping off for the top 3 ever so slightly now. Salty Joe starting to reel Cupid in a little bit, and these 5 absolutely leaving the rest of them for dead. Oh no, there's a bit of a collision there into the first chicane. Cordero looks like he's come together there with Pete Bibb. Pete Bibb there runs straight over the corner, and we see there Cordero now walloping the polystyrene boards there. That has not gone to plan in any way, shape or form whatsoever for Cordero. What a shame there for him. And he's now going to be way down the order as a result of that one. Marty Road Racing, though, sneaking through up into what I think is P7 there, ahead of... I don't even... To be honest, this still I'm still getting used to these liveries at the moment. No, he's P7 just behind Cheese Monkey. Cheese Monkey back up into P6 in all of that, though, because Pete Bibb... Cordero and basically those two just took each other out of the race, or didn't take each other out, but you know, they're still going, they're still in the race, but just a little bit lower down the order. But yeah, we've got Cheese Monkey back up into P6 ahead of Marty and Duke Martin, managing to gain a couple of positions there in that exchange. But the gap coming down between Codalungu and Zanderfander at the moment, just under a second between these two. Looks like it's pretty tight between these two at the moment, but over the course of this lap, Zanderfander continuing to make the gains here on Codalungu. A couple of seconds back to Crew Kip. Salty Joe's lost a bit of time to Crew Kip over the course of this lap. You got Marty with an 0.8 of a second of Cheese Monkey, but I think Cheese Monkey will say bye-bye to these guys behind him at this point, and we'll start to reel in the leaders up ahead of him. You've got Freeman, Codalungu, Zanderfander, Crew Kip and Salty Joe, currently showing everybody else how it's done here tonight at Monza for the opening round of the GT4s here at Motive on ACC here on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. We've got standing control says news has happened. He's on a charge at the moment, absolutely. Cheese Monkey looking to try and limit the damage here tonight, I'm sure. Not sure, but I'm confident he might be able to get onto the podium if he absolutely wrings the neck of that number 1 Ginetta. We'll have to keep an eye on him and see what his progress is like. Auto Butcher says, hell of a first lap. I didn't see what happened mid-pack though. Neither did I, mate, to be honest. I was focused so much on what was going on at the front that I didn't manage to get some eyes on it. Oh, somebody's gone straight over the chicane there. That would be, to be honest, I'm not quite sure. Still getting used to the liveries in a moment. I will get some idea though. Lightblade says, is his sim rig still in one piece? Did I hear a bang and some rude words? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Auto Butcher, to be fair. I wouldn't blame him one bit, but he's currently running in P6 at this point. He's put a bit of a gap between himself and Marty Road Racing now, as we see there Pete Bibb tagging the gravel a little bit on the outset of De La Rocha chicane. He's got King, sorry, that was actually, yeah, it was Pete Bibb there. It was Stu Martin, I do apologise. King Quinn's got a drive through though for, I assume, corner cutting, and that will obviously affect his race in some way, shape or form. We see in the background there, you've got Quideo with the lazy camel all over him. I think Quideo might have a bit of damage on that Porsche. We've got Emo Guy bringing himself slowly back into this race. Ryan Ruby with a bit of damage on his BMW. That number 44 has definitely been in the wars a little bit over the course of the first part of this race, but Emo Guy quietly bringing himself up this order here. He's only about 5 seconds off of a top 10 spot at this point, so Emo Guy definitely has a chance to get a good result here tonight. It would be damage limitation after his pit lane start here, but Freeman out in front. It's got a 3-second gap over Kodalungu at this point. Zanafana within a second of Kodalungu at the moment, and Crew Kip there running a couple of seconds behind these guys in 4th place at this point. Salty Joe there in 5th place, 4 seconds adrift to Crew Kip at this point. You've got Cheese Monkey there coming out of the Parabolica. He's running in P6 and looking to try and chase these guys down if he can. Pete Bibb there running within a second of Duke Martin at the moment. You've got King Quinn a further couple of seconds back. He's coming into the pits to serve that drive-through penalty, so he's getting it done and out of the way nice and early. He's bringing it in. He's getting the penalty served, so he doesn't have to worry, he doesn't have to stress, he doesn't have to get sleepless nights and worry himself sick because he's got it done and out of the way. So it's, you know, it's sorted. But we've got Snooky there running in the final top 10 spot. Hedda there running in 11th, and you've got the Lazy Camel. Emo Guy there. Look at that! Oh, no, this is very good point. Emo Guy there going straight on at the first chicane, and I thought he got the move done on Lazy Camel there, but Emo Guy there continuing on his way, and in the end not too much damage as a result of that. We see Ryan Ruby in the background there pulling up onto the back of Emo Guy. Is he going to get a better run here? He will definitely have the overspeed on him coming down towards the De La Rocha chicane. I think Emo Guy's just about got the legs on that BMW to stay in front for the time being. But it's currently Freeman still leading this race. Duke Martin's now within 7/10 of a second of Marty at this point, so that's looking like a rather intriguing battle here. You've got Pete within the background there, Snooky there running in P10 with Credeo just about in your picture there, and then you've got Lazy Camel, Emo Guy in the back of your shot. Looks like he's lost out to Ryan Ruby there, so Ryan's now up into 13th position here in this race for the present moment. We see Zandervander coming up onto the back of Kodalungu here, 0.8 of a second separating these two in 2nd and 3rd places. But an interesting race so far here in in this one. JR says, let's go Team Run DJC Racing. Currently they're doing a good job right now. They're 1 and 2 here in this race. Xander Flander though of Team Auto Butchers looking to try and get onto the back of Kodalungu if he can and get himself into P2, but at the moment Team Run DJC, it couldn't really be going much better at this point, but obviously they'd like to see Marty Road Racing up there. We're currently running in P7. Let's just quickly run through the Team Run DJC boys for tonight. So the roster for Team Run DJC. JR, correct me if I'm wrong. If I missed anyone out, please let me know. It's always difficult to keep up to date with the latest news and views and gossip in relation to Team Run DJC. If you've made any signings over the off season, please do fill us in. But in terms of the Team Run DJC, it's Freeman, Kodalungu, Marty Road Racing, Emo Guy, and I think that's it as far as I know. Do correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong, I usually am, but yeah, just let me know if I'm not, if I'm otherwise incorrect. But we see Freeman here. Is that a lap car? Yes it is. That is a lap car. He's just put a lap there on, who is it? John Jig. So John Jig there just having a lap put on him by the race leader Freeman, but Freeman's got a 3-second gap to Kodalungu, and the gap's kind of just staying at around the same at the moment. It's not really going up or down or otherwise, it's just kind of like being consistent. You got Kodalungu there running only just 0.3 of a second ahead of Xander Flander at the moment. You got Crew Kip there running in 4th place at this particular point in the race. Then Salty Joe, who seems to have dropped quite considerably off the back of Crew Kip at this particular stage, but Xander Flander looking like he is very, very racy at this point. But at the moment that Ginetta just hasn't got the speed over the BMW. Kodalungu knows how to drive that BMW out of the corners and get those good runs, so Zanafano isn't able to make the most of that superior traction that the Ginetta undoubtedly has. He just isn't able to make the most of it at this point. Kodalungu's just got the measure of him for the time being. He's got his number for now. Let's see if Xanafander's got anything to throw at him that might be able to destabilise him ever so slightly. But Emo Guy onto the back of Cordero. He's got himself ahead of Ryan Ruby and the Lazy Camel. And now Emo Guy looking to try and pick off another driver here. He's looking around the inside. He's trying to distract him in the mirrors ever so slightly if he can. Emo Guy there. Is he going to send one down the inside here? He's going to have a look. Here we go. He's going to commit one. Is he going to make this stick? I think he is here. Emo Guy with a wonderful move there down the inside of the Parabolica. And Cordero gave him the space on the inside. It was an adventurous one, I've got to say. It looked like he was in two minds about it as he came towards the apex of the corner, but in the end just went for it, put his foot down, and Emo Guy up position up into 11th place from a drive-through, well, not a drive-through, but from a pit lane start. Emo Guy has done absolute bits here in this race. Fair play to him, got to say, I respect him for that. A little bit upset with him that he signed for Red Bull in our Formula 1 career mode that we were doing, and I still haven't got over that, Ian, but fair play to you, mate. Respect for your comeback drive so far here tonight. Well done, mate. But Marty's picked up a drive-through. Oh no, Marty Road Racing has picked up a drive-through penalty for what I would assume is track limits, and obviously he will have to serve that within the next 3 laps. Question is he going to leave it long? Is he going to stay out, and is he going to stress himself out and worry and get anxious and just work himself up about it, or is he just going to come in and get it done out of the way? That's the question. We'll have to wait and see. But at this point, we've got Freeman still in the race by 3 seconds at this point over Codalungu, and Xanafander still running within 8/10 of a second of him at this point. We've got Lightbit in the comments says Freeman, Cod, Marty and Emo are the team run DJC boys. Yep, that's what I thought, mate. But Xanderflander's just running just about within a second at the moment of Codalungu, when we see their crew keep running in 4th place. They're just ahead of a lapped car who is just put a lap on at this point. We see Salty Joe there running in 5th place at the moment, 6 seconds off at the back of Crew Kit. We see Cheese Monkey there running in P6, currently on the back of one of the lapped cars here, which would appear to be Grulo. But Grulo there, very duty obliging there, and moving well out of the way and allowing Cheese Monkey, the 2-time champion of the GT4 division, through up into some clean air. That was a hiccup. See Snooky here trying to come back at he's trying to defend here from Cordeo. Emo Guy's got ahead of Snooky up into the final top 10 spot, continuing his fantastic comeback drive here tonight, putting our differences aside tonight. It's great to see Emo Guy doing a great job here out on track. We see standard control says Cheese Monkey has pulled 2 seconds on Salty Joe in the last 5 minutes. Yes, he has standard control, absolutely. He's been doing a good job as Cheese Monkey, and to be fair, I think he's kind of like he's now in that little bit of a dead zone where it's difficult to make the gains on the guys up ahead. You know, Freeman, Codalungu, Xanafander, Crew Kipper and Salty Joe, they've got that gap now. The question is, can Cheese Monkey overhaul that gap? I mean, he's a long way behind the podium spot. He's 18 seconds behind Xander Flanders, so he has really got his work cut out in terms of getting onto the podium. A top 5 is very much within his grasp. He's only 8 seconds behind. As we see, Marty's now served his drive-through penalty, so he's got it done out of the way nice and early, so he doesn't have to worry himself sick, stress himself out, suffer from all sorts of panic attacks and whatnot. He can just get it done out of the way, and then the coast is clear from then on, and obviously sorted, done and dusted. But we see there Cordeo running a little bit wide there, coming through Lesmo 1, and now we see Snooky's got Ryan looking down his inside in towards Lesmo 2, and Ryan commits that on the inside, rode over the curb a little bit aggressive, but managed to make it work. Nice move from Ryan up into 11th place. As we look up the order here, we've got still Xanafander on the back of Codalungu at the moment. Codalungu's been holding on to that P2 for the last few laps, as they've just put a lap there on somebody. I would assume that's probably that's not John Jake. It was Windsor. So Windsor there, just having a lap put on him by Xander Flander. But Freeman currently showing us how it's done here, and it's been a really good job from Freeman so far. One of our admins, GT4 league coordinator here at Motive, runner-up in last season's championship, looking to try and go one better this season, driving in that very fetching chrome and blue BMW, the number 82, as is his customary number here, as it has been throughout the last 2 seasons. I believe, I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and guess it's his year of birth. I don't know that for sure, but I would assume it might be, but I could be wrong. I could be very wrong there, and I do apologise if I am. Freeman, if you are in fact born in the year 1995, then I do apologise, but Yeah, no, I'm guessing it is, but at the moment he's got a 3.5 second gap at the moment over Codalungu. Not too much going on really here at the moment. We got currently Ryan actually looks like he's reeled in Quideo a little bit. As we see here, just over half a second between these two at the moment as they're now coming through the Curva Grande. Let's see what Ryan can get done here as they're coming in towards the Della Rocha chicane. Can he send one down the inside? Can he absolutely throw it late on the brakes here? He's thinking about it, and Ryan's going to go for it here and pulls it off. Oh, tags that sausage curb there on the inside and tags both of them there quite violently, but gets away with that, and he's up into 10th place there, in towards the top 10. Ryan Ruby goes, and now Quideo's going to have to watch out because Snooky's really close on the back of him there, running it in P12 in the number 76 AMG. Gap between Codalungu and Xanafan has gone up a little bit now, 1.3 seconds between those two. Cheese Monkey, his gap to Salty Joe was about 8 seconds a couple of laps ago. It's now down to 6 seconds. So Cheese Monkey is really continuing to bring those gains on Salty Joe, and his gap to Xanafan, we're going to keep, we've said we'll keep an eye on this one. Now 16 seconds. So it's not out of the question, you know, for Cheese Monkey to get a podium here. I mean, it's unlikely, let's be real, but it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible, but some things are more likely than others. But Cheese Monkey coming over the line at the moment to complete his 10th lap of the race, and we're a third of the way into this one. 5 minutes until the pit window. Pit window will be opening very shortly. Obviously none of these drivers can count as your mandatory pit stop. It's basically like you might as well not have even bothered coming into the pits, because you know it's just not going to count. It's like, no, sorry mate, no, doesn't butter any crumpets, unfortunately. And you have to then come in once again, despite the fact you've already come in, which is a good rule to have. And I like the mandatory pit window because ultimately it means you have to do a bit of racing. You've got to do the graft, you know, you can't just sort of come in on the first lap and then drive by yourself, pump in some qualifying laps and then come out ahead of your rivals. You know, it doesn't work like that. You've got to actually, you've got to be in the thick of it. You've got to, you know, see what your racecraft is like. But Cheese Monkey continuing to reel the gap down to Salty Joe, and that gap's now down at half a second as we see Pete Bibb within a second of Duke Martin at the moment. Currently Duke Martin's got some heavy pressure from Pete Bibb. Snooky also on the back of Quideo here, as Snooky's gone deep into the Della Rocha chicane, and he's going to have to relinquish that position back to Quideo there. Quideo continues on his way as we see Marty's made the move on the Lazy Camel up into 13th place. Marty, since making his drive through, now bringing himself back up the order here, so a solid comeback from Marty so far. We see Duke Martin's got not much of a gap back to Pete Bibb. It says 9/10 of a second on the timing, but that's a massive lie. As we see now, it's down at half a second between these two. Pete Bibb's continuing to make the gains here. Emo Guy is closing on both of these two. He's now only 4 seconds adrift of these. Having said that, once he gets up to Duke Martin and Pete Bibb, he's got really a mountain to climb beyond that, because Cheese Monkey running in P6. 17 seconds up the road from those two. So, but Emo Guy, I reckon, could be definitely on for a P7 in this race, and it really is just a question of what could have been here for Emo Guy. You know, if it wasn't for the drive-through penalty, I reckon he could have been challenging for a win tonight. But it's what's done is done. Ultimately, you've got to move on and get over it, and you know, focus on the future, because the past ain't going to do anything for you. But at the moment, we've got Freeman leading the race by 3.5 seconds over Codalungu, and looks like Codalungu's extended the gap a little bit to Xanafan at 3.5 seconds now, separating those two. So Cod's really done some good work over the course of this last lap or so. Xanafan has got about 3.5 seconds back to Krukip at this point. Salty Joe running a further 10 seconds off at the back of the top four. He's got Cheese Monkey continuing to reel him in here, as Cheese Monkey's just put a lap there on the Lazy Camel. And no, not the Lazy Camel, I do apologise, it's actually the same livery as Lazy Camel, but it is in fact Nilsson and Windsor, who are a lap apart themselves. So Nilsson a lap down on the leaders, and no, 2 laps down. Windsor's 3 laps down, I believe. No, actually, that's probably massively wrong. No, that's wrong. It is wrong. Windsor's 2 laps down, and Nilsson's 1 lap down. But in the meantime, back to the front. We've got Freeman leading by 3.5 seconds at the moment over Codolungu. Let's keep an eye on Duke Martin, Pete Bibb. Looks like that gap's now just over a second, so Duke Martin's now got a little bit of respite here back to Pete Bibb. He's got a little bit of a cushion, and you know, he doesn't have to worry too much just at this point. These two have currently got just under 4 seconds back to Emo Guy running in 9th place. He seems to have lost a bit of time over the course of the last lap or so, which is obviously a bit of a shame there. He's lost about 4/10 through that middle sector there, so he's got work to do. But Emo Guy, hats off to Ian over the course of this race. You know, when you consider the fact that he started from the pits, you know, didn't ready up at the start. Since then, he has done everything right. You know, he made a mistake at the start. He kind of like, yep, fair enough. You know, it was his own mistake, his own doing. But since then, he has done nothing but pick himself back up. He's focused himself, he's just got on with the job, and he's done everything right. And honestly, I hope he gets the reward at the end of this race. I ideally hope that he gets a wonderful result here in this race, because since his mistake, which admittedly was his mistake, he's done nothing but do everything right. And you know, fair play to him. Let's hope that he gets himself into that P7. He's only got 5 seconds up the road to Duke Martin and Pete Bibb, but yeah, let's all get behind Emo Guy in this race for sure. As we got Freeman here running in the lead of the race, still on the exit of Lesmo 2. He's got 4 seconds back to Codolungu running in second. There's Xander Vander in P3, a further 4 seconds back to Krukip running in 4th place. There's Salty Joe, who's got Cheese Monkey really reeling him in at this point, and Cheese Monkey could be on the cusp of getting himself into a top 5 spot here in this race. Standard Control says in the comments, Cheese Monkey is, oh no, you already said that. Auto Butcher says Emo definitely has the best livery. Car looks stunning. Yeah, it's like a derivation of Team Run DJC's livery, and it's kind of like been adapted a little bit. It looks very fetching. I've got to say, you are absolutely right there. It's very nice, very aesthetically pleasing. But in the meantime, Freeman has pulled out a bit of a gap to Codolungu here. 5 seconds now separating Freeman and Codolungu, and Codolungu's just dropping back into the clutches of Xander Vander a little bit now. A second and a half between these two, so it looks like Xander Vander's really bringing himself back onto this battle for second place. Codolungu had pulled out the gap over the last few laps before this point, but now it looks like that's very much race on between those two, as the pit window is now open, so these drivers can come in and get their pit stops done and out of the way. Now, do they play along? Do they wait? Do they ponder? Do they wonder? Do they think maybe I can get away with this one, or do they just come in and get it done out of the way? That's the question. Obviously, you can't get away with it because the pit window is 10 minutes, and if you don't come into the pits, you get an 80-second penalty. So I don't know why I said that, but currently Codolungu is still running in P2 at this point. We see Krukip in the pits. Krukip is the first to pull the trigger, so he's sat in his box at this particular point in the race. You see there the number 16 BMW stationary, undergoing his mandatory pit stop. Is he putting fuel in? Well, he'll have to be, because you have to put at least 1 litre of fuel in the car, otherwise you get a DQ. So he'll be putting some fuel in the car, maybe some tyres, who knows. You don't actually get to see the tyre change. It's all left to your imagination. You have to like sort of imagine that the tyres are being put on, because you don't actually see it visually on the game. So he might be having tyres on, he might not. We'll find out, because obviously his pace might be a little bit quicker if he's got new tyres on. Also, his pit stop might be a bit shorter as well though. But Krukip off and on his way once again. We also see that we've got Snooky and Marty in the pits, as is Nilsson, as is Pete Bibb. So these 5 guys, the first drivers to come in and get their pit stops done out of the way here tonight. We see Freeman still leading the race. Cod's managed to pull out a couple of seconds back to Xander Vander over the course of this last sort of, in fact no he hasn't, that's a massive lie, because he's now only 0.8 of a second ahead of Xander Vander at this point, as they're coming out of the exit of Ascari up towards the Parabolica here. So now Xander Vander could be in with a shout of getting himself into the second place. That Ginetto, as we said before, hasn't got the best of straight line speed, but has he got what it takes? Has he got the grit and determination to get himself up into that P2 here? We'll have to wait and see. Krukip's now got that green box next to him. That indicates that he's done his pit stop, and he's now clean slate, can just get on with his race, and just, you know, enjoy the rest of his time out on track tonight here at Monza. We see Pete Bibb's also got that green box. That means that he's all good to go, so well done Pete, good job. Snooky's also coming out of the pits there, so he's now, oh no, he's got a stop go penalty. Oh no. So Snooky there's got a stop-go penalty there, just as he was exiting the pits. What a shame there, just as he thought he was being let off the leash. He's been done there for a stop-go. So obviously he was nearly there. He was so close to the end of the pit lane. He'd almost got there, and he just What a shame. What a shame. Marty's also done his pit stop there in P14. We see the lazy camel there just coming down towards the end of the pit lane. Is he going to hold on here from that's Windsor there. Windsor just unlapping himself there on the lazy camel, but that'll be an interesting one to see. But anyway, let's check out what's going on here. So we got Zanderfander currently within 9/10 of a second of Codalungu here. Looks like he's really reeling him in over these last couple of laps. Codalungu's been dropping into the clutches of him, as we see a drive-through penalty for car number 2. That's Grulo there, has picked up a drive-through penalty. What a shame. What a shame there for Grulo, as he's now going to have to come in and serve a drive-through penalty at some point over the next 3 laps. Obviously, if he doesn't serve that penalty within those 3 laps, then there'll be hell to pay for him, so he better come in and get that done ASAP. But we see there, Scooter Red Bull says, evening races, racing season is up upon us once again. It is indeed, Scooter Red Bull. It's been great to see the action so far tonight for the GT4 boys, as we see Zanderfander within 4/10 of a second of Codalungu at the moment, coming down towards Paramonica. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? No, he's a little bit too far back at the moment, coming up towards the corner, but Zanderfander now really pressuring Cod. The problem for that Zanderfander is that the Ginetta has no straight line speed. He's going to have to really get onto Codalungu coming through the middle sector through the Lesmos. If he can get a good run through the De La Roja chicane, the second chicane, that might be able to set him up with an opportunity. Or is he going to get it done in the pits lane? As he's coming to the pits now to make their mandatory pit stops, he might be able to get the jump here in the pit boxes. But Freeman, Cod, Zanderfander all in, that will promote Salty Joe into the lead if he doesn't come into the pits, but it looks like he is coming into the pits. So Salty Joe also pulling the trigger, and so does the 2-time champion Cheese Monkey. So that will leave Duke Martin to come round. We see there Freeman is in his pit box at the end of the pit lane there. Is Duke Martin going to come in? If not, I believe that he still won't need a lap, because Freeman has crossed over the start finish line. So Freeman's led this lap, so but Duke Martin might lead the race for a bit if he stays out. No, he's coming in. So Duke Martin is now coming in. What about Emo Guy? Let's see what Emo Guy does. Emo Guy is going to stay out, so Emo Guy will lead the race for a short time here. And Emo Guy, got to say, well done to him. You know, ultimately this man here made a mistake at the start, messed up at the beginning, but you know, since then he's done nothing but make an absolute great account of himself. And you know, got to say, hats off to him. Got to give him a pat on the back for the way that he's bounced back from a very, very difficult start to this race. He's done everything right. Everything that could have been asked of him. What more could he have done? You know, he's kept it clean, he's kept it tidy, he's not done any mistakes, he's not done any sillinesses, and ultimately, you know, he's got his reward. He's currently leading the race. He's still got to make his pit stop, so you know, he will have to come in at some point in the next 3 minutes and 46 seconds in order to not get a major penalty from the race director and the stewards. But you know, you've got to say well done to Emo Guy in this race. He has absolutely smashed it since the beginning, so well done, Ian, if you're listening, mate. I'm still trying to get over you moving to Red Bull in our F1 career mode. I'm still trying to get over it. It's hard. I'm struggling. I'm getting there. But you know, just stop. Just don't hurt my feelings, please, mate. It's not nice. But Cordero there running in second place, 15 seconds behind Emo Guy at this point, coming in towards Esmo 1. He's got a couple of seconds back to Freeman. Freeman has already been into the pits to make his pit stop. And he's only got 0.3 of a second back to Zanderfander here, so Zanderfander's really gained on him over the course of this pit window, and Zanderfander's jumped Cod, so that's obviously big news for Zanderfander. That will have worked out very nicely there for him. He will, I'm sure, be very happy with that. Oh my goodness me, let's just turn that off. Yeah, at the moment Zanderfander looking like he could be in with a shout of winning this race here. Really played a blinder in this pit strategy. I wonder if he hasn't changed tyres. The tyre wear here at Monza is pretty much non-existent. There's only 11 turns around this track, and they're all pretty easy ones. They're not too hard on the tyres at all, so wow, I mean, maybe Zanderfander could be in with a shout of winning this race here. He's very close to the back of Freeman right now, as these two coming down towards the Parabolica for the 16th time here in this race. As we see Emo Guy putting the trigger here at the end of lap 16, coming into the pits here in that number 666 BMW. We see Cordero in the 666 BMW. Pardon me, coming out of the Parabolica. He will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap as well. And yes, there he comes. So Freeman and Zanderfander, the two leaders here, coming down the start-finish straight, and Zanderfander with no speed in that Ginetta whatsoever, struggling to get ahead of Freeman. But if he can keep himself close, maybe he'll have a chance coming through the middle sector of the lap, where the Ginetta will undoubtedly have a massive pace advantage on that BMW. He needs to get a good corner coming through here, and Freeman goes a little bit deep into the chicane, which would have given Zanderfander a little bit of a chance to pull up onto the back of him again. He needs to be maybe within about 6 or 7 tenths of Freeman coming out of the De La Roja chicane. If he can be close enough, he might have a chance of really putting him under pressure coming through the middle part of the lap. So this is the part of the lap where the Ginetta will excel compared to the BMW. Let's keep an eye on these two as we see them coming through this part of the track. Look at that, Ginetta is absolutely flying through that part of the track. Now these two corners here, these two right-handers, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, this is where we're going to see Zander van der really pull up onto the back of Freeman. Freeman's going to be looking in his rearview mirrors and probably feeling a little bit tense at this point, but for the time being it looks like he's just about got the measure of him. Zander van der will try and get a good exit here coming out of Lesmo 2. Freeman all over the curb there as they came out of the corner, but for the time being Freeman weathering that storm and holding on to the race lead for now. Kodalungu 2.5 seconds further back in the final podium spot. He's a further 6 seconds clear of Crew Kip, and then Cheese Monkey there running in P5 further 10 seconds off the back of him. He's jumped Salty Joe in the pit stop, so I don't know what happened to Salty Joe. He seems to have had an absolute nightmare in the pit stops. There's no other word for it. He has literally dropped about 10 or 15 seconds in the pit stops. So that has not gone to plan in any way, shape or form for him. Credelia's gaining a couple of places in the pit window. He's now ahead of oh no, he isn't ahead of Duke Martin. No, he is in fact, no, that was a timing board failing to update itself there. So in fact no, that was he is actually in P10 still. But Duke Martin in P8 doing a good job here tonight. Only 3.5 seconds up behind Emo Guy, but that is because Emo Guy has clawed his way back through the field and overtook him a couple of laps ago. So Duke Martin though running in 8th place. He's currently 1.3 seconds ahead of Pete Bibbs, so fair play to Duke Martin here in this one. It's been a very, very strong opening to the season for him. Clearly a driver who likes Monza a little bit, so I don't know whether he's got a bit of an affinity with the track. Maybe he's done a bit of practice around here, maybe he's played it on an old game quite a bit, but Duke Martin currently doing a very, very strong job here tonight in P8, and he's got just about a second back to Pete Bibb at this point. He's pulled out 3 tenths to Pete Bibb coming through that middle sector as well. So Duke Martin clearly has got the measure of Pete Bibb at this particular stage in the race. We see the gap between Freeman and Zander van der staying in around the same. It's now half a second between these two as the pit window has ended. So anybody who has not come in and undertaken their mandatory pit stop over the course of that pit window will have to pay the price with a hefty, hefty penalty by the time we get to the checkered flag. But currently checking out the YouTube comment section here. So we got Guitar Rich says hi all, better late than never. Says Guitar Rich, and obviously Guitar Rich a big fan of John Jig. John Jig not having the race tonight though, unfortunately. Rich, it's not gone to plan at all for him. He's really been languishing down the back of the pack. I don't know if the Chevy isn't particularly suited to Monza. Pete Bibb has absolutely been wringing the neck of his Chevy up in P9 at the moment, but John Jig it's not been the night in any way, shape or form for him. Pete Bibb we know is a driver who has generally driven underdog cars and seems to make them work. We saw him in the Audi last season. I say underdog car, the Audi's pretty quick if you get the right setup for it. I mean, we saw Cam Diz in the final race of season 2 Alton Park. He won the race by about 30 seconds in the Audi, but I don't know, it's a little bit of a struggle I find, but yeah, Pete Bibb currently running in P9, but John Jig's not had the night. He seems to have got caught up in a few incidents at the start, and since then it's been just an uphill battle for him. Windsor's got a stop-go penalty, which I don't know whether he's going to serve it now or whether he's going to wait a little bit and try and outrun it. But we see Freeman here running in the lead of the race. Goes a little bit deep again into that first corner, but he's managed to pull out a bit of a gap to Zander van der over the course of this lap. That BMW has got some serious pace down the straights. Kodalungu not too far behind here. This is still very much a four-way fight for this lead. Don't get it twisted. I think that Kodalungu is still very much in this race. It depends on how well he can look after those tyres, but he's only 4 seconds off of the lead, so I reckon it's going to be between Freeman, Zander van der and Kodalungu for sure. Crew Kip running in 4th place, not too far behind. Cheese Monkey reeling Crew Kip in, could be in for a P4. What a result that would be for Cheese Monkey. But yeah, at this point Kodalungu's certainly not out of the battle for the win. Freeman's managed to pull out a bit of a gap to Zander van der over the course of the first sector of this lap here, but Zander van der's going to gain through this part of the track as we've seen before. Dejanetta's so quick through the middle sector, but Freeman at the moment has just got enough in hand for now. We're just going to have to see whether or not he's got what it takes to keep onto this lead and keep his focus and attention and stay composed all the way to the checkered flag. Standard control says Zander will have to make Freeman defend and lose time to bring another car into the mix. Yeah, and that would be a massive risk for Freeman. He doesn't want to play games like that, because the last thing he wants is to try and back Xander van der into Codalungu and then end up losing the lead himself, because then that would be throwing away a race win. And obviously he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to throw away all of his hard work, all of that effort, all of the time and resources, and all of their time and effort that he's put into tonight. He obviously doesn't want that to go to waste, and so he wants to keep that gap to Xander van der. He doesn't want to throw this away. That's what I'm trying to say here. But Freeman at the moment has got that gap here to Xander van der, and he's looking like he's in pretty good nick at the moment, to say the least. But Pete Bibb running in 9th place here within half a second as a Duke Martin at the moment. You've got Ryan Rubio half a second off on the back of Cordero at this point, running 11th place, not too far off of a top 10 spot here in this one, as we can see there. Cordero's got Ryan and Marty now really closing up onto the back of these guys here. This is becoming a three-way battle for P10 here. This is really heating up between these boys at the moment. At this point it's kind of just these three staying in the same order. But I wonder whether maybe Ryan's going to have an opportunity coming down the back straight down towards the Parabolica. I would imagine the BMW's probably slightly got the legs on the Porsche. I don't actually know this, to be fair. I could be massively wrong. I am often massively wrong. Oh, we see Ryan tagging the curb a little bit on the exit of Ascari, keeping it together though. And this is now a 3-car train here coming down the back straight. And Ryan's going to have that slipstream here on Cordero. Marty not able to make too much happen here on Ryan, because Ryan's obviously got the slip off of Cordero in front of him. And now Ryan's looking down the inside into the Parabolica. Is he going to be able to complete this move here? Side by side on the exit of the corner, and Ryan does get that done. But now the slipstream is going to go to Cordero and Marty, and it's going to be in a sandwich here, as we see there. We got Ryan now in the middle of these two Porsches coming down the start-finish straight. We see the two police car liveries giving Ryan a police escort here down the start-finish straight here at Monza. Ryan in the middle here has got the pace, he's got that straight line speed, and what's going to happen is they come onto the brakes. Cordero's going to throw it back. No, sorry, Marty back down the inside into the corner, pushed him a little bit wide, and Ryan's just hanging it on the outside there. They're side by side on the exit of the corner, and for the time being it looks as though Marty has managed to squeeze both of them out up into P10. Great driving from Marty Road Racing there up into P10. The timing board says that Ryan's in P10, Cordero in 11th and Marty 12th, but that's actually an enormous lie. That's telling us absolute porkies there. Marty into P10 ahead of both of them. What a move there from Marty Road Racing. And Ryan's still in the middle of the police escort there as they're coming out of the De La Roja chicane, but Freeman out in front at the moment. It's got a 2.6 second gap to Xander van der. He's continuing to put out that gap. Xander van der's also putting a bit of a gap to Codalungu. No, sorry, that's a lie. Codalungu's closing on Xander van der. The gap now between Xander van der and Codalungu now just under 2 seconds between those two. We see Marty currently running in P10. It's got Ryan and Cordero still in close contention at this point. But this is a very, very interesting race indeed for P10 here. As we see there, the Ryan is just shaking off the pursuit of Cordero ever so slightly, but he's obviously got a pacemaker just in front of him in the shape of Marty. And Ryan's got to be very, very careful here. You know what? I've just realised something. Hold on one sec. No, it's fine. Anyway, so anyway, Xander van der just putting a lap there on a Mercedes. That would be Windsor, I believe. Oh no, it's not. Is it? No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It is. It is. So Windsor there also moving well out of the way of Lazy Camel as well. Lazy Camel a lap ahead of him, but Xander van der's kind of pulled out the gap a little bit to Codalungu over the course of this lap. The gap was under 2 seconds before, it's now just over 2 seconds. But the gap between Freeman and Xander van der continuing to go up. Freeman has been in control of this race since the beginning. The pit window was a little bit unkind to him. It flattered Xander van der ever so slightly, but since the pit window, Freeman has just got the foot down and has left him for dead here in the final part of this race. We can see here Ryan still right. He's got back ahead of Marty here, so Ryan's must have made the move, I would assume, coming out of Curva Grande up into the De La Roja chicane. But whatever the case, wherever it was done, the result is that Ryan Ruby now running in P10 here in this race. So excellent stuff there from Ryan Ruby. As you see the gap at the front continuing to extend between Freeman and Zander van der. It's now 3.8 between those two. Codlungu's bringing the gap down to Zander van der here. Look at this. Codlungu will be wanting to make it a team run. DJC 1-2. What a start it would be to their season. JR will be watching this in the comments. Absolutely jumping up and down at this particular site. As we see here, it looks as though Cod is now really making some substantial inroads here on the man currently in P2. They just put a lap on wins. You can see in the background there, just coming through the Lesmo 2 there. As we can also see there, we've got Lazy Camel just ahead of just behind, sorry, I don't know, but currently Codlungu within 7/10 of a second of Zander van der at the moment, and it's looking like a pretty tasty battle here for P2. Zander van der's just lost a bit of time to Freeman at this particular point in the race. He seems to not have the overall pace of Freeman at this stage, but Codlungu's got the closing speed here on Zander van der, and we know how quick the BMW is down the straights. Could Zander van der be a sitting duck here? He's going to have to go late on the brakes here into the Parabolica. He's going to do so. That Giannetta's got incredible stability on the brakes, but out of the Parabolica, I think that Cod's going to absolutely breeze past him here with the slipstream down the start finish straight. Zander van der's going to have absolutely no defence as they come over the line here to start their 23rd lap of the race. So here we go, he pulls out of the slipstream now, down the inside goes Codlungu. He's going to go late on the brakes. He doesn't need to go late on the brakes really, to be honest. He's got it done already. Zander van der's trying to hold it on the outside, but Cod has completed to P2. In the meantime, I want to say a big shout out to this man here, Emo Guy. Started at the back from the pit lane. Admittedly, you know, some people will say he made a mistake, and yes, you know, he did. He didn't ready up. It was his mistake, but I think he deserves to have got a brilliant result out of this race tonight, because ever since that mistake, he has been perfect. He's driven brilliantly. He made his way back to the field. He carved his way up from a very low position, as has Cheese Monkey as well, to be fair, currently in P5. But you know, Emo Guy has done everything right over the course of this race. He's picked himself back up from you know, a difficult start to this event, and ultimately he's got that P7 at the moment, and what a result for him. What a shame that he didn't get out at the start. What a shame that you know, he didn't get that opportunity at the beginning, but he's more than made up for it here, running in P7. And yeah, just well done to Ian, driving in the treble 6 BMW for this season. I was speaking to him back when we were on speaking terms about a week or so ago, before we left me in our F1 career mode for Red Bull. He did actually say that he wasn't sure what car he was going to pick. He was toying with going for the Maserati, which he drove last week at Zolder, but yeah, ultimately he made the decision to go for the Beamer gang. And I myself am a big fan of the BMWs. I do drive the BMW GT3 in a GT3 league on Project Cars 2 on a Thursday night, and you know, I love the Beamers myself. I'm a massive fan of anything BMW related. You know, big up the Beamers. I'm massively supportive of everything that they do. In the meantime though, we got what? But Codlungu there running in second place at the moment. It's got Zander van der just behind him at this point, 0.2 of a second separating those two out of the first chicane. Freeman though really pulling out the gap to these two at this point, and what a great job from Freeman here over the course of this race. But this is now really on between these two, but Cod obviously having made the move on Zander van der up into P2. Definitely saw that, definitely haven't just noticed that. It's obviously now made it a team run DJC 1-2 here in this race, and that is absolutely fantastic to see. Always he kind of wallops the curb there coming through the second chicane. He's going to have to defend the inside here from Zander van der. Zander van der's now going to try and go around the outside of Lesmo 1. Can he make this stick? He's going to look around the outside of the Jetta's got incredible grip around the outside of that corner. Cod just closes the door on him though, and there's no way around for Zander van der there. Can he get a good run out of Lesmo 2? I think that ship has sailed there. I think the time and the pace and the opportunity for that one to work out has gone, my friend, and unfortunately he's going to have to hope that Cobb makes another mistake, because yeah, that one's yeah, that ship sailed, unfortunately. But at this particular point we see Ryan and Marty separated by just under half a second here, coming over the start finish line to start the 24th lap of the race. We see there Marty all over the back of Ryan at this point as they come into the braking zone, but Ryan's got just about enough of a gap. Oh, Marty late on the brakes there. Has he gone to? He hasn't gone deep into the corner. We managed to get it stopped in time. Good job there from Marty. So currently Codalungu and Xander Flanders separated by half a second at the moment as they're coming out of the Parabolica, about to start their 25th lap, sorry, even of the race. Standard control says Freeman is very comfortable in the lead. He's pulling away nicely since the pit stop. Absolutely standard control. Freeman has just, he's done everything perfect tonight. I mean, I said before, Emo guy's done everything right. You know, obviously he made that mistake at the start, and you know, that's unfortunate, and everybody makes mistakes, and it's how you bounce back from them. And if you bounce back from them, I think you deserve to reap the rewards of a job well done. So, you know, personally, I think the Emo guy's done absolutely fantastic tonight. But yeah, Freeman has literally done a flawless job. You know, Emo guy's done brilliantly. Cheese Monkey, to be fair, has done superb to come back from the back, but Freeman has been flawless, and you can't say that anybody else out on track's been flawless. Freeman is the only one who I can give that summary to here tonight. He's been the only one who's made absolutely no mistakes whatsoever. But Cheese Monkey now within 6 seconds of crew kit, and could maybe be in with a shout of finishing in 4th place here in this race. Auto Butcher says soaks up the pressure and gets on with it, no drama. Now, everything's relative, isn't it? Like, you know, if it ain't the worst thing you've ever been through, then, you know, relatively it feels alright. So ultimately, if you've experienced worse, then it's it's nothing, is it? You can just brush it off. But it's currently Cheese Monkey continuing to bring that gap down to crew kip at the moment. We got Freeman currently still out front. He's continuing to put out that gap to Codalungu. Xanafan has got just over a second to Cod. And Cod, since obviously making that move a couple of laps ago, has now started to put out the gap to Xander Flander. I don't know, maybe Xander Flander might be able to come back at him at the end. It depends on how the tyres are. Giannetta's very good on its tyres, so maybe we might be seeing a resurgence from Xander Flander towards the end of this race. Crew Kip, though, they're running in 4th place, has got 5 further seconds back to Cheese Monkey running in P5. Cheese Monkey continuing to bring that gap down, continuing to make the gains in this final part of the race. Salty Joe there running. Oh no, Salty Joe's lost it! Coming out of Ascari. Salty Joe in the wall there. He's having to do a 3-point turn. Oh no! Oh no! Oh god, we see that Lazy Camel getting collected there, and Lazy Camel a lap down on Salty Joe, just sympathetically losing it. Oh no! Somebody else has lost it as well. That's a Team Run DJC car there. Is it? I think it is. Who is it? What? No, it's Lazy. No, it's not Lazy Camel. There were 3 cars involved in that. I'm trying to work out what the 3rd car was. It was Lazy Camel, Salty Joe. Am I deceiving me, or was there one more? Oh no, was it Emo Guy? Oh no, I don't. Oh no, I hope it wasn't Emo Guy. Hold on. No, it wasn't Emo Guy, because Emo Guy has now closed the gap to Salty Joe. 11 seconds between those two. He'd have a job to get into P6 though. I don't know who it was. I thought there were 3 cars. It might have only been 2. To be fair, the camera angles are quite restrictive, so it's difficult to actually get a sort of a wide vantage point as to exactly, you know, what's what. But moving swiftly on. Currently we've got Freeman leading the race by just under 6 seconds. Cod managed to pull out over a 2-second gap to Xanafander at this point. So Cod currently driving a very good race indeed, as he's just putting a lap here on the stricken car of Nielsen. And Cod able to continue on his way here in this race, able to get on with it and continue doing what he's doing as he's continuing to pull out a gap here to Xanafander, now over 2 seconds as it has been over the course of the last few laps. Blue flags being waved here Got a car just in front of Codalungu, which would be Windsor there. No, not Windsor. Kinquin. That's it. So he gets well out of the way there for the other drivers, but not really much going on at the moment. The gap's kind of just just going up a little bit between the drivers. Not really too many close battles going on at this stage. That was a hiccup. But yeah, 6 minutes on the clock left here for the opening round of the GT4s here at Motive. What a race it's been, non-stop action here. I have not stopped talking since the beginning of this one. I had constantly something to talk about, something to get excited about since the beginning of this one, which is always good, because you don't want to be sat around doing nothing, bored out of your mind. That's just, it's not ideal, is it, at all? I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to be fair. But currently we've got Cheese Monkey not really closing in much on crew kip at this point. Sorry, just kind of like diverted there to another accent. But yeah, not really too much going on at this point. The gap's kind of like looking pretty solid. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, just had to quickly take a quick break there to just pop off for a moment, but we are back once again for the final, just under 5 minutes of this race. We see the Lazy Camel currently sat in the pits, so he's definitely not going to improve on his position while sat in there, but he is now off and on his way once again, so his potential is now once again, he can reach for the stars here. Let's say that, as he emerges from the end of the pit lane and out onto the racetrack once again here at the Autodromo di Nazionale Monza. And we see here Freeman currently leading this race by 7 seconds out the front. He's continuing to exert his dominance on this GT4 field here for the opening round of the GT4s here at Motive on Assetto Corsa Competizione here on the PlayStation 4 and 5 here. And season 4 of this GT4s, Freeman, runner-up in last season's championship, will be very, very determined to make sure that he doesn't come P2 again in the title race. The two-time champion and reigning champion Cheese Monkey hasn't had it's not the race that he would have dreamed of when he went to bed last night, when he went to sleep thinking, oh, what are my dreams, what are my ambitions, what are my hopes for the GT4s at Motive tomorrow night. He probably wouldn't have ideally envisaged this happening, as in, being 20, how many, 6, 8, 15, 20, 22 seconds off for the lead, coming towards the end of the race. But nonetheless, it's been a good damage limitation. When you consider he disconnected at the start, he got quite lucky in that he disconnected before the race started, because if it had happened during the race, that would have been really debilitating for him. That would have been obviously a massive tragedy if that had happened, but because it happened before the race, he was able to get himself back in. He was lucky and unlucky, because he wasn't able to get back in time to retake his qualifying position. He managed to get into the session just after the qualifying and race transition had been done, so he had to, he's basically, all of the work that he had done, all of the effort, all of the time that he put into qualifying was basically rendered completely pointless and a waste of time. But he didn't let that get him down. He kept going, kept pushing, and ultimately P5, what a great result for him in the first race of the season. I'm sure he's not going to be too disappointed with that, all things being said. Let's just put it this way: if you'd offered him P5 at the beginning of this race, I think he'd have snapped your hand off, personally. I think he would have said, yes, please, don't mind if I do, give me some of that. But you know, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, before tonight, this afternoon, I think he probably would have been hoping for better than P5. But nonetheless, it's going to be Freeman to take the first win of the season, as he's just coming up towards the parabolic. He'll have one more lap after the one that he's currently on, and he's got just under 7 seconds back to Cod. Cod's pulled about just under a 4-second gap to Zander Thunder over these last few laps, so Cod looking at very good for this P2. Zander Thunder running in third place, will complete the podium barring any major catastrophes in the final part of this race. Crew Kip there running in fourth place, just shy of 10 seconds behind Zander Thunder. You got Cheese Monkey there running in P5, 5 seconds off of the back of Crew Kip. Salty Joe there running in sixth place. You got Emo Guy not too far off the back of Salty Joe. Has really been making gains on Salty over the last few laps. He's been bringing that gap down. He's been putting in the work, but I think it's going to be a bit too late. Unfortunately, I think it's, you know, dust has kind of settled on that one. Unfortunately, Pete Bibb there running in P8, 20 seconds adrift of Emo Guy. You got Marty Road Racing 3 seconds behind Pete Bibb at this particular point. Ryan Ruby there in 10th place, followed by Duke Martin in 11th. And you got Cordeo in 12th, followed by King Quinn in 13th place. John Jig, your man, running in 14th place. Not been the night for John Jig, a man who we're so used to seeing near the top of the order, battling out for top 5 spots, even the occasional podium here and there. He will be, I'm sure, absolutely fuming with how tonight has gone, but he'll be back, I'm sure, fighting back in the next one. We've got Grulo running in P15 at this particular point, as we are now into the closing stage. He's just been lapped by Cod there. You know what? Last season I was really struggling with deliveries, and for some reason something about my mindset this season is so different. I already know who's in what livery. I've already got to grips with it. How has this happened? It just goes to show that your mental state can vary and just be so different. Last season I didn't even know by the end of the season. This time I've already got them all locked out. Mad. Anyway, Windsor running in P17 here. He's 3 laps down on the leader. You got the Lazy Camel coming down towards the first corner. I just feel on the ball, man. I feel so good. But Freeman coming in towards the final corner here. Enough about me. Let's talk about this man here, currently in towards the final corner, the race leader, the man who's dominated this entire event here. Freeman was the runner-up last season in this GT4 series. We'll be hoping to go on better this season. I flashed the lights from our GT4 lead coordinator, admin here at Motive Racing. What a drive. A dominant display here from Freeman in the number 82 BMW. Team Run DJC on top here in the opening round of the season for the GT4s at Motive. Kodalungu makes it a 1-2 for Team Run DJC. A great result for those boys. Zander Thunder brings it home in the final podium spot. What a result in the Ginetta. A car which is not supposed to be suited to this track at all. Crew Kip comes over in P4. Cheese Monkey does his traditional lag-in as he finishes the race in 5th place. The number 1, the reigning champion, looking to try and make it a 3rd title in a row this season, will be not too disappointed with that, considering that he started from the back. Salty Joe is going to come round the final few corners here. He's got 3.5 seconds back to Imagai. Imagai's been really chasing him down over these last few laps, but unfortunately it's just too late. It's just left it a day late and $1 short. You know, he left himself with too much work to do. Salty Joe had that gap, had that buffer, pulled out enough of a gap, got that jump on him, and it's just unfortunately Freeman guy is going to come up a bit short here. But Salty Joe up towards the line. It's going to be a P6 finish here for the number 90 BMW. Emo guy is going to come over the line to finish this one in 7th place. I forgive Emo guy for leaving me in the F1 career mode and moving to Red Bull. You know what? I'm happy to draw a line under it. I'm a forgiving person. You know, you upset me, you hurt me, but I'm over it now. I've got over it. So Pete Bibb over the line to finish this one in 8th place in the Chevy, number 56. A solid drive there from Pete Bibb. Not the most competitive car in this GT4 series, but he's making a fist of it here. Good to see. Ryan holds on for yeah, he does just about, holds on for 9th place there by a 10th ahead of Marty Road Racing. Duke Martin's going to come over to take an 11th place finish here in this race. Cordeo coming out of the parabolic and not being the race that Cordeo would have needed, wanted, desired or dreamed of in the lead up to this GT4 season, but nonetheless takes P12, and that is all she wrote then for the GT4s. The opening round of the season here at Monza, here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5 on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Freeman taking a win by 7 seconds ahead of Codalungu. Xanafander completing the podium. Crew Kip in 4th place, best of the rest. We got Cheese Monkey. It was only 2 seconds adrift of Crew Kip at the end there, takes P5. Salty Joe in 6th place. Emo Guy really hunted him down towards the end but couldn't get there in time. Pete Bib in 8th place ahead of Ryan Ruby in 9th. Marty completes the top 10. Duke Martin in 11th place. For him, we got Quadeo in 12th, followed by Kingquin 13th, John Jig 14th, then Grulo in P15, 2 laps down on the leader. Nilsson 16th, Williams 17th, then later Cameron in 18th place, followed by Snooky in 19th place, and SMT Zaloba in 20th, and last place here, classified in this race. Well, what a race we had here tonight at Motive for the GT4s, the opening round of the season. Congratulations to Freeman, last season's runner-up, looking to go one better this season. Pardon. Anthony got himself off to the best possible start here this season. Well done to him. Big thank you to everybody who watched live on the stream tonight. Big shout out to Standard Control, Auto Butcher Standard Control, they're saying well done to Freeman for the win. Also to Xander and Cheese Monkey for making the Jetters punch above their weight. Auto Butcher says Cheese will be happy with his result. Could have been a lot worse. It really could have. It really could have. But thankfully managing to recover a decent result there. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening round of the GT4. So big thank you to everybody who watched live. Please do drop a like on the video if you did enjoy. If you want to see more of the same, then definitely subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get involved in the on-track action, go to www.motiveracing.com. That is where you can become a part of the action which you see out in front of you, or you have seen in front of you out on the track over the course of tonight. But from us, it's I bid you a good evening. If you want to watch some Formula 1 racing, then check out our stream coming up soon. That'll be the XLF1 League. I do the comms for another league on this Motive channel, so if anybody wants to check that out, then take a look. If not, we'll see you in the next one. We'll be next on ACC Saturday night for the British GT, the inaugural British GT Sprint Cup race, so definitely tune in for that. But yeah, thanks everybody once again, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care everybody.
Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. It's that time of the year again.